My name is Noel Wirzius. I'm working for Deutsche Telekom as a product manager, and I'm here to talk to you about Telco for developers, why we need to build APIs together. I'm not really here for Deutsche Telekom. I'm more speaking for the whole telco industry because telcos are moving into a network as a service. What is this meaning? If you're thinking about telcos, you're thinking about connectivity, about tariffs, about old-fashioned processes maybe in the end. But currently there's a movement forward. So telcos want to bring to you APIs which then you can directly interact with the network. So you can set quality in the network, you can get information out of the network, and so on. And I want to talk to you about exactly this topic today. But first, let's have a look. What can a telco offer you as an API? So on the one side, we're having customer data. So we're exactly knowing every customer in the mobile network. We're knowing their name, we're knowing their tariff, we're knowing their gender, we're knowing their location, we're knowing their age. Maybe in the end, we're also knowing the family structure of the person because they're having family contracts and stuff like this. On the other side, we're knowing everything about a SIM card. So we're knowing where a SIM card currently is, if a SIM card is online, if the SIM card is offline, what data tariff a SIM card is getting, and also the quality of the SIM card. And the third step is we're knowing our network. So we're knowing our coverage, we're knowing where our cells are, we can make predictions for different areas if we have coverage or not, and we're also knowing everything about the network because we are the network. So, and based on these three capabilities, 2 years ago we started discussions with a lot of companies and developers to find out if there's something from interest. And based on this, we found out that there's currently no telco is doing something in this field. So we decided to make the first use cases and focusing on the first APIs. So I will now explain one use case, then make a short, I show you short what we have planned in the future, and then I will explain a little bit more. So this is one use case we have done. This was done with BMW and Valeo. It is an automated valet parking. Automated valet parking on level 2, if somebody notices, meaning that the car is not driving by his sensors or by his cameras. So there are external cameras and an external server which are controlling the car. And this server and the car are connected via 5G connectivity. So like the driver is coming down the garage, it's jumping out of the car, pressing the button, and go directly shopping. And the car is maneuverting into this parking lot by his own. And for the time where the driver is jumping out of the car is getting a higher prioritization in the network via an API. And this is due to the fact that if there are a lot of people in a shopping mall or in a shopping place or in a crowded place like a stadium and stuff like this, the server and all the system needs to guarantee that no person gets injured there. So if somebody's jumping in front of the car should stop. But the car is blind, so the car is trusting the system behind this. And so the connectivity between the server and the car needs to be stable and needs to be there. And if you're thinking now about net neutrality, yes, this is a topic there. But we're just focusing here on really low bandwidth, so just a few kilobits and stuff like this. So we just prioritize them for the parking process, so where the car starts in the parking process, going into the parking lot, and then it's over. And the prioritization is based on an IP flow, so not the whole device gets prioritized. So not the child in the back sitting and watching Netflix is not getting a prioritization. And if we taking this a little bit further, if you're thinking about quality, what can a telco do in quality level? So on the right side, we're having the quality in the mobile network, I explained. But also, telcos can improve the quality in the Wi-Fi network. Why? Because a lot of customers in the home have Wi-Fi routers from their telco company. So we are building these machines, and we exactly know what they're doing, so we can improve there also. Another one is we also own the backbone network. So we can also do prioritization in the backbone and prioritize other packages there. And the last point is we can give you the best edge site in the end, so where you need to place your instance. Currently this is, so like if you want to place an Azure, Google Cloud, AWS instance, and you need to find the best spot, we can help you to find it, or we can better help the cloud providers to find it. But if you have your own cloud platforms or stuff like this, or your connections via an IP transit or stuff like this, we can help you to find the best entry points. This is more the where you can set something in the network. But if we take a little bit more deeper look there are some features, but maybe in the future, so like in beam firming, I don't know if somebody knows it, but in the future it can be that a cell can follow a car down the street, for an example, or we can manipulating a cell to a different location, to another location, because there's an event or stuff like this to get there more quality or more network in this moment, where there maybe is like a festival or stuff like this. And on the other side, I want to expand another example. It's more about the check device, so getting information out of the device and out of the network. So this is a use case. It's called location verification. So imagine I think you all know GPS, and you all know using GPS maybe in apps. And with this, GPS is mostly done, there's a lot of GPS spoofing and stuff around. But we as a telco really knowing where the customer is with this device, because sitting in our cell, and he cannot faking that he's sitting in our cell. So we can find out, if you send us a request location, if the customer is in this circle, you request it, and we can say yes, the customer is in. And if you're thinking about use cases, you can maybe just put an app down in south of Germany to just the users there, or you can put it's called soft launches in gaming. You can do fraud prevention, you can do fake for GPS spoofing and stuff like this. So this is like a really simple use case for us, but something where you can get more security in your apps. And just a little bit more into the check device area. So what we're also thinking about, and we're getting some feedback, is like a connection status out of the network. So we exactly know when a device is connecting to a cell, and we exactly knowing when a device is losing the connection. So I saw the presentation here before. We were talking about a lot of source code which is not necessary maybe, or maintenance. So we talked to a lot of developers, and they have code to find out if the device is connected or not. And we can directly offer this via an API. So in the end, hopefully, developers can save some code and give us the chance to do this for them. Other one is the connection quality. So this is also a big point if you do some like streaming or stuff like this. You really know what we can offer you right now in the situation. And maybe it's going to the next point. And maybe in the future we can also give a prediction. So you're getting this quality now, you're getting this bandwidth now, and in the future you're getting this bandwidth. Or the bandwidth will drop in the next 10 seconds because the person is driving into a cloudy place or something like this. And also there are some features if you're going more in the IoT direction. We can also, over the network, we can wake up devices, track devices of the battery status and stuff like this with just standardized APIs. So these are some use cases, and not really use cases, but APIs we are currently thinking of. And while we're talking with a lot of developers and companies, we found 3 factors out what we need to do to bring the APIs to the world in the end. And the first one is, we started with the APIs doing by our own. Then we invited some developers to test these APIs, and they was not really happy. So they're saying us, this is looking like a telco API, and so we need to improve this. So we're focusing on developer experience. One example they said to us is, maybe it's really easy for you to get an MSI SDN from a SIM card, but we are sitting behind an iOS, and we don't get the MSI SDN out of it. So we need to find a way how we can do this. So in the end, we can find an MSI SDN out of an IP address. So the developer can set us an IP address, and we make an MSI SDN out of it. So without any operation system between this. And all the stuff, so if you're taking a look really at these standardized network APIs, which are there from all the standardizations and all the gremiums and stuff like this, they are not really well known or not. So you need really good experience in telco industry to understand them. And we need you to make the move over to service APIs which developers can use without telco understanding. This is the one point. The other point is that we have going away from this tariff business and stuff like this. So it doesn't make sense to offer APIs or something like this via tariff or via old-fashioned ordering processes where you need to wait 3 weeks or stuff to get this. So the complete telco industry is moving into a marketplace structure. So there will be coming different marketplaces for telcos where you can go there just as known purchase APIs. But on the other side, all the telcos are working with all the aggregators together. With aggregators, I'm meaning all the big cloud providers, all the big where you get your APIs, like also in the OneEdge and Infobip and stuff like this, where you can come in and get the APIs, and you're sitting in this what you currently use and don't need to drop off to a telco. And also we are in heavily talks with different programming languages to integrate the APIs there. And if you grab the APIs, you can make with them whatever you want. And if you want to resell them in a different model to an end customer in the end, to give them better quality in a game or stuff like this, it's your money in the end. So we're just selling the API at our door, and then it's we are really open for wholesale models here. So, but there's one big point more, what we found out. So, one telco is not enough is standing there. So this is meaning if we're talking to a company which have only Deutsche Telekom SIM cards, they're saying, yeah, it's cool, we're getting an API. If we're talking then to a little bit bigger company in Germany, which are having devices at the Deutsche Telekom, at the Vodafone, at the Orange or Telefonica networks, they're saying, yeah, it's okay, but if I want to integrate all four, then I have 4 APIs in my quellcode for every different network. And there's one layer bigger if we're talking to the operation system from the mobile devices. They're saying us, yeah, as Germany is too small. If you're just focusing on Germany, we will not implement something in our operation system because it's too small. So because of this, we founded an alliance. And we announced this year on Mobile World Congress. It's the CAMARA, so the Telco Global API Alliance. And I will show you some of the logos I can show to you. So you can see that there are all the big telcos are in. So we're having T-Mobile US from America. We're having a KDDI. We're having a Telecom. We're having Orange, a Vodafone, AT&T, and all the other ones. But not only this. We're having all the big vendors which are working on this, like in Mavenir, Nokia, and in Ericsson. So I think the most important networks in the world will support these APIs in the end. But also we're working together with the aggregators like Google Cloud, Microsoft, Infobip, Ericsson I mentioned before. They are all trying to help us to standardize these APIs. So this CAMARA Alliance is under the roof of the Cloud Native Foundation and the GSMA. So it's an open source alliance, and everybody can take part there and help us to develop the APIs. And this is also the first point I will now come over. It is how to participate, how to take part in this, and how we can interact with each other. So you as a developer can join CAMARA, can help us to improve the APIs and work on the APIs and can see what APIs are coming next. And also if you have ideas, you can just put them in and you're getting an API in the end. So if there are some telcos which are saying, okay, this is a good idea, they will take focus on it and will implement this API into the networks. And the second part is that so the major telcos in Europe, like Vodafone, Telefonica, Orange, and Deutsche Telekom, are really working together to bring these use cases from you to the next level. And everybody from these 4 companies having their own programs where you can come in, place your use case, place your ideas what you need, and you get an invitation into a test bed and can test the advantages of a 5G non-standalone network in the near future. And this is, I think, a really big point. So also for you for testing, so you get the feeling of a real 5G network, not like now where you have where you have non-standalone and we go over to standalone in the future. And we really improve the APIs there. You're getting help from the developers to integrate this into your apps, and also a lot of statistics to really see what the network is giving you and what you're getting back. And this is something we tested at Deutsche Telekom side. We're having like 30 different developers in the last half year in Berlin, and we're having different use cases from robotic arms, which are for operational use cases. We're having AVGs driving food from one side to the other side, and stuff like that. So all the 4 the companies are not working against each other, so we're working all together. And if somebody have an interoperating use case, so we can take a car from Germany which is driving to Orange, a network in France, we can giving them higher priority, and we need to find out how the APIs will hand over in each other. And these are the both ways how you can take part in this alliance, not in this alliance, in this movement. And we really need you to bring these APIs out. If we just bring APIs out of the telco network, then we're having telco APIs nobody can understand. So we need to bring out more developer APIs. So I think I'm done, so I would open the question round if there are some questions. So, no.